He adds on the office, and then this section over here was built in 1838, 37, 38, and he would live in a house like the big White House down at the end of the common, and his house is still in Dummerston, Vermont, where it's a private home today. So you're going into the store, they have goods there from every country except for Japan. They're not trading with Japan. Japan feels that we're a bunch of savages and then refused to trade with us. So they changed their minds in the 1840s when Commodore Perry goes into their harbor and points the guns at them. That's when they changed their minds. But he would be going into Boston to the markets from Vermont, and he would be getting his supplies for the winter and for the summer to sell at the warehouses that he has his accounts at. And so he would be just loading up, or he might have Teamsters deliver it too. That would be nice, especially in say February or March. Have some nice raspberry jelly on some bread would be good when you really don't have fruit. By that time, if even your keeping apples are probably gone. You might have dried apples that you could make an apple pie with, but you're keeping apples. What they would have is, and I'll talk a little more about that when we get over to talk about the cider mill. You've got the cider apples, these gnarly hard apples that you're going to make cider out of, but you're also going to have like Nonesuch, Baldwin, Maiden's Blush, Sheep Nose, these apples that are what they call keeping apples that you're going to put in a barrel and keep them and have the children go down every day and to see if they're have rotten spots on them. It was one of the first buildings that was moved here by the Wells family. A.B. Wells, one of the founders, loved the floorboards in the barn, and he negotiated with the farmer to buy it. He wasn't going to pay $5,000 for it. He paid $3,000.
And my brain is just, it's not operating today.
Well, there's a lot to remember.
There is, and all of the gardens. It's Scarlet Runner, but it's not Scarlet Runner bean. So I don't, and it might be Cardinal, just don't know. Okay.
And everything you're using here, those pots were made out of pottery.
Yes, and the tin was made in the tin shop. So what we're doing is we're all collecting a different kind of seeds so that we can save them for next year. And these are flower of an hour, and if the sun was shining today, this flower would be right out in full bloom, and it's a nice creamy colored petal, and inside is a purple and then with a yellow center. And then when it dries to this paper thin pod, and you have to clean out the seeds. I think my hand has some of the little black. It's okay. They're the little black seeds. So we have to pick them. Thank you. And then clean them for next year's gardens. So.
And that's how you replant things.
That's right. So it's a very frugal, economical way of getting your seeds. You could buy some of these seeds in a catalog, sending away to Boston as early as the 1830s, but not everyone was doing that because it costs money. So if you save these seeds from year to year, they're heirloom varieties, so the children will look like the parents. They're not going to be different. And that's the problem with hybrids today. You save the seeds and you don't know what you're going to get. So it's kind of interesting to plant them to see what you get, but you might not get what you thought you were going to get.
Yes.
So.
Yes. We do that with our tomatoes.
Yes.
Plant, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I know. I wasn't that crazy about Vermont camp, were you? What are you doing? Oh, you're taking a video, but I would ride there and say, oh my. I love you, Eileen.
Part of it was that you need more businesses around the main way the newspapers made their money was advertising, and so that meant businesses, and usually meant more of a commercial center. So Worcester had several very successful newspapers, but the rural areas usually it's more difficult.
Where did this shop come from? And this was an actual shop? Or
This was owned by a very successful printer, Isaiah Thomas, in Worcester, Massachusetts. We don't know how he used it. It was originally just the front two rooms. This was a little bit later this vat on. But he was a printer who had many buildings and employed 150 people and had a successful newspaper and did books. So we don't know how he used this particular building. It may have just been a sales office or for accounting. It probably wasn't used for actual print.
It has to be, certain stiffness there to it. If it's too soft, like the stuff I'm using here, then it can be difficult to shape. And then if it's too, stiff instead of soft, it can be equally as difficult. So times like the winter are not ideal to do this work. Since the water and the clay stiffens.
So you shut down in the wintertime? They would.
Well, this is not a full-time business for anyone playing with this mud. They don't really do this for a living. The items are only about 3 to 12 cents a piece. They're very inexpensive. So you're not going to really make a living off just throwing pots.
But it helps on the side to...
Right. Everybody is utilizing their time as much as possible. The guy who did this, he did this more as he got on in age. It was easier for him to throw pots in the wheel than it was for him to plow his fields. So working with the clay was a way for him to contribute to his family. It wasn't so physically demanding. He did this till he was 85.